American people are now being subjected to. So one of the things we look forward to changing in this town, I want to make this commitment, House Democrats. We are committed to making sure that we end corruption once and for all in the United States of America, in corruption in Congress, in corruption at the Supreme Court, and in corruption with the administration. That's part of our agenda, an anti-corruption agenda. That's what the American people deserve. That's what we as House Democrats are committed to bringing about. The exact opposite, Mr. Speaker, of what we see in this bill. We're going to present to the American people an anti-corruption agenda, the likes of which have never been seen. Because it's too much. Fundamentally, it undermines the ability of government to deliver for everyday Americans. You see that politics, at the end of the day, is about the management of public money. That's why we need everyday Americans to participate in your democracy. Because politics, at the end of the day, is about the management of public money. It's about how taxpayer dollars are going to be managed. And what's extraordinary about this one big, ugly bill is that what we see, Mr. Speaker, is the management of public money, all of it being done in this highly partisan way. It's not designed to serve the best interest of the American people. It's being managed, Mr. Speaker, in this GOP tax scam, this disgusting abomination, this one big, ugly bill. The management of taxpayer money being misused and abused to hurt everyday Americans in order to reward billionaires with massive tax breaks. That's a dereliction of duty. Mismanagement of public money. It's an abuse of the privilege that all of us as members of the United States Congress have. And so one of our promises to the American people as we look toward the future, we will always be stewards of your money to make sure that we are allocating taxpayer dollars in a way designed to lift up the American people, not tear the American people down. That's the type of Congress that the American people deserve. The public interest over special interest. The public interest over special interest. The public interest over special interest. That's one of our promises to the American people. And we're going to work hard to earn your trust as we move forward and look toward the future. I mentioned earlier in my remarks that I wanted to talk a little bit about faith. I grew up in the Cornerstone Baptist Church. Faith is the substance of things hoped for, the evidence of things not seen. We walk by faith, not by sight. You just have faith the size of a mustard seed. You can move mountains. We come this far by faith. Can't leave this floor, Mr. Speaker, without talking a little bit about faith.
Talk about faith. Talk about faith.
And I use faith in the broadest sense of the word. Proud of what we are in this country: Jewish faith, Muslim faith, Hindu faith, Buddhist faith, Christian faith. All faiths. That's the interesting thing. This rush to jam this reckless bill down the throats of the American people, all of it somehow connected to our 249th birthday that we're going to celebrate tomorrow, July 4th. A journey launched by the Declaration of Independence. And ultimately, this principle embedded in the First Amendment around the importance of faith, but also at the same time the importance of separating church and state. It's all in the First Amendment as interpreted by the Supreme Court. Don't have time, I think, to really deeply go into it, but you've got... You've got the Establishment Clause and you've got the Free Exercise Clause. Framers of this country recognize the importance of faith, our journey of religion. I'm proud of my Christian faith. But I also recognize the importance of the plurality of all of us, men and women of faith, different religions. And also of the fact that here in America we embrace the religious and the secular. The religious and the secular. But on this question of faith, I alluded to it a little earlier. It seems to me that the Gospels, that the New Testament, there's some interesting parts of the Old Testament. I'm tempted to tell the story of King Nebuchadnezzar. Mr. Speaker, a lot of parallels to what's going on right now. But I'm gonna focus at this moment on the New Testament prescription, the Gospels. I think it was mentioned earlier by one of my colleagues. I think Don Beyer mentioned it earlier. Matthew, the 25th chapter, verses 35 and 40. I think it's important that at this time, in this moment, in this debate, before I leave the floor of the House of Representatives, that this Scripture be entered into the congressional record. For I was hungry, and you gave me something to eat. I was thirsty, and you gave me something to drink. I was a stranger, and you invited me in. A stranger, and you invited me in. E pluribus unum, out of many, one. I needed clothes, and you clothed me. I was sick. I had medical problems. Maybe I needed Medicare or Medicaid or the Affordable Care Act or the Children's Health Insurance Program or Planned Parenthood. I was sick, and you looked after me. I was in prison, and you came to visit me. We have a right as members of Congress to visit people who are detained. It's not just in law, it's right here in Matthew. Then the righteous will answer him, Lord, when did we see you hungry and feed you? Or thirsty and give you something to drink? When did we see you a stranger and invite you in? Or needing clothes and clothe you? When did we see you sick or in prison and go to visit you? And of course, the reply from Jesus, truly, I tell you, whatever you did for one of the least of these brothers and sisters of mine, you did for me. That's what we should be doing here in the United States House of Representatives. Our job is to stand up for the poor, the sick, and the afflicted, the least, the lost, and the left behind, everyday Americans. That's what Matthew teaches us. And that's not what's happening in this one big, ugly bill. That's not consistent with what my faith teaches me. I'm not down with this situation. I'm not down with this situation. Well, you got some folks in this town. They go to church. Mr. Speaker, I said some folks in this town, they go to church. And I'm not questioning anybody's faith. I'm just making an observation. Got some folks in this town, they go to church and they pray on Sunday. P-R-A-Y. And then they come to Congress and pray P-R-E-Y on the American people. I'm not down with that kind of faith. That ain't my faith. That's not our faith. That's not the faith that comes out of the gospel. I can't find that kind of faith in Matthew 25 and 35. I can't find that kind of faith. But I do see something else.
Tell us what you see. Tell us what you see.
Can I talk about it for a moment?
Talk about it. Talk about it. Take your sweet time. Take your sweet time.
Take your time.
I do see something else, kind of what I'm seeing connected to this one big ugly bill. I don't know if this was an inspiration to this extraordinary assault on the American people, this corrupt piece of legislation. But when I look over my Bible, and this is going to come from John, it's not going to come from 2 Corinthians. Although the Apostle Paul has a lot to say about that. And, Mr. Speaker, I said 2 Corinthians, not 2 Corinthians.
Come on now. Come on now.
I don't know who I'm talking about, but if you're going to sell the Bible, you should know the Bible.
Talk to him. Take your time. Take your time.
Trying to figure out, because it's not in Matthew.
That's right.
25, 35 to 40, but I did see something in John.
Tell us what you saw. Tell us what you saw.
John 10 and 10. This frightens me in this moment that we're living in. It says the thief comes only to steal, kill, and destroy. It's incredible to me that we're here dealing with a piece of legislation literally that steals money from everyday Americans, from hardworking
Steal.
American taxpayers. Steals money from Medicaid, Medicare, the Affordable Care Act,
Steal.
supplemental nutritional assistance, steals money from Pell Grants,
Steal. Steal.
from the education of our children,
Steal.
from energy assistance programs. Thief comes only to steal
Come on, steal.
and kill.
Well done.
I don't say this lightly, Mr. Speaker, but we stand behind this point. That when you try to take health care away,
Yes.
what this bill does, taking health care away from everyday Americans, more than 17 million, this unprecedented assault on Medicaid, on the Affordable Care Act, on Medicare, on children's health insurance. What you effectively are doing, hurting everyday Americans, hurting children, hurting women, hurting older Americans, seniors,
Tell them, leader.
people with disabilities. Nursing homes will close.
Tell them what they're doing.
Hospitals will shut down.
Let them know what they're doing.
Community-based health clinics
Tell them.
unable to operate. We're actually here debating legislation, Mr. Speaker, that will result in tens of thousands of everyday Americans losing their lives
Tell them what they're doing.
because of the inability to get health care that they now have
Tell them.
and is being ripped away
Let them know.
from them. John 10 and 10, the thief comes only to steal
Steal.
and kill
Kill.
and destroy. All-out assault on the American people. All-out assault on health care, the economy, Social Security, Medicare, Medicaid, nutritional assistance, veterans, farmers, law-abiding immigrant families, small business
Tell them.
owners. All of the things that we've spent some time on this House floor talking about. That this bill is trying to destroy.
That's right.
Destroy the American way of life.
Make it plain.
Can't find anything in the Bible and the New Testament, certainly not in Matthew 25 and 35. Matthew 25 to 35th chapter and all the way through the 40th verse, but somehow I happened upon John 10 and 10. And thinking about this one big ugly bill. The thief comes only to steal, kill, and destroy. But America is a resilient nation. We're an exceptional nation. We're a strong nation. We've been through turbulence, trials, and tribulations. And we always somehow have found a way to make it through. Because of the resilience, Mr. Speaker, of the American people.
Yes.
So whatever happens today as it relates to this one big ugly bill, if my Republican colleagues decide that once again, Mr. Speaker, you're simply going to make the decision to serve as a reckless rubber stamp of President Trump's extreme agenda, I still have faith in the United States of America. Still have faith in the United States of America. I still have faith in the United States of America. We will not let anyone in this town destroy what America represents. Not now, not ever. It's not going to be easy. We recognize that. But we've got faith in the resilience
You have time. Take your time. Sweet time.
of the American people. As I get ready to close shortly, and
Now take your time.
Take your time.
Take your time. Come on. Take your time.
Take your sweet time.
Tell them. Come on. Plan your time.
Take your
well, let me say it
Yes, say it.
one more time. Our Republican colleagues tried to jam this reckless, extreme bill, Mr. Speaker, down the throats of the American people. Had the nerve to start this debate at 3:28 a.m. in the middle of the night. But we made clear that we were going to expose all of the things that are being done to harm the American people.
Yeah, that's right. Tell them.
Not in the dark of night, but in the light of day. This little light of mine, we're going to let it shine on behalf of the American people. Incredible to me that Republicans would try to jam this one big ugly bill down the throats of the American people in the dead of night. And then, to add insult to injury, Mr. Speaker, allocate 15 minutes. 15 minutes to each side on the committees of jurisdiction.
Shame. Shame. What a shame.
15 minutes to the Ways and Means Committee on each side. 15 minutes
Take your time. Take your time.
to the Budget Committee. That's extraordinary. But I'm thankful, I'm appreciative of all of my colleagues who stand behind me.
That's right.
I'm thankful. Thankful to all of my colleagues for their commitment, their courage, their conviction, standing up on behalf of the American people to deliver, hopefully, what is a message of concern, but also a message of hope.
Come on.
That's right.
Hope.
We got to fight a lot of battles on behalf of the American people. It's not over.
It's not over.
Fighting a lot of battles on behalf of the American people. This is just one of them.
This one.
But we wanted to make sure that the American people had an opportunity to fully and more completely understand, in the light of day, just how damaging
In the light.
this one big, ugly bill will be to the American people. And I plead with my colleagues on the other side of the aisle, Mr. Speaker. I really plead with my colleagues, inspired by some of the framers of the Constitution, the great scholars, the great thinkers, conceived of this incredible journey that we've been on
Yeah.
in the United States of America, creating separate and co-equal branches of government, recognizing that in this country, part of the gift that we were given by the framers of the United States Constitution, no kings, no dictators, no monarchs, separate and co-equal branches of government. This is the Article I branch of government. Mr. Speaker, James Madison, he once made the observation, in his view, in one of the Federalist Papers, that at its best, Congress should function as a rival to the executive branch. That was James Madison. Article I, branch of government, the House and the Senate. We're not here to bend the knee to any wannabe king. Mr. Speaker, we're not here to bend the knee to any wannabe king. We're here to be a rival to the executive branch in the best spirits of the House of Representatives, to push back against an out-of-control executive branch. That's the framers' vision. I said that's the framers' vision.
That's what they said.
The framers' vision. And so as we prepare to take this consequential vote, Mr. Speaker, I just urge many of my colleagues
Take your time. Take your time.
in government,
Time.
my colleagues on the other side of the aisle, Mr. Speaker, we don't work for President Trump.
That's right.
We don't work for J.D. Vance.
That's right.
We don't work for Elon Musk. Mr. Speaker, as all of us prepare to cast this vote, I hope my Republican colleagues will come to the conclusion that we work for the American people. We work for the American people. We don't work for any president. We work with American presidents. We work for the American people. So it's my hope that as you evaluate this bill, all of the harm that is being unleashed on the American people, ripping health care away from more than 17 million Americans, effectively ending Medicaid as we know it, shutting down hospitals, including in rural America, in districts, Mr. Speaker, that my colleagues on the other side of the aisle represent.
That's right. They're people.
Nursing homes closing. 1 in 4 nursing homes, Mr. Speaker, will close as a result of the attack on Medicaid and Donald Trump's one big, ugly bill. Mr. Speaker, this is extraordinary. This assault on everyday Americans, assault on children, veterans, seniors, people with disabilities. It's incredible to me. All of this in this one big, ugly bill.
Take your time.
Ripping food away from children, literally ripping food out of the mouths of hungry children, hungry veterans, and hungry seniors. Mr. Speaker, that's not America. We're better than that. Mr. Speaker, we're better than that. Ripping food out of the mouths of vulnerable Americans. That's extraordinary that's what we're doing. Extraordinary. And all of this is being done? This unprecedented assault on everyday Americans is being unleashed on the American people. Mr. Speaker, on the most vulnerable amongst us. All of this is being done to provide massive tax breaks to billionaire donors. Shame on this institution if this bill passes. That's not America. We're better than this. We are better. We are better. We are better than this. I think that as we prepare to vote on this one big, ugly bill,
That's right.
tough time for people in the United States of America. It's extraordinary extremism unleashed on the American people. Mr. Speaker, my colleagues on the other side of the aisle promised to address the high cost of living. Nothing in this bill will meaningfully lower the high cost of living in the United States of America. Nothing. It's incredible to me. All of the promises that were made by some people in this town. That the top priority was going to be to lower the high cost of living in the United States of America. And then, all of last year, ran away from Project 2025.
Come on. Come on.
Acted like it didn't exist.
That's right.
And then, Mr. Speaker, people come to town, they're in the majority now, and every single part of the extremism that we've seen unleashed on the American people is connected to Project 2025. Every single part. But here's why I still got hope, optimism. I referenced this earlier today as we prepare to experience the 249th birthday of the United States of America.
Yeah.
Take it back to that original document.
Yeah.
Declaration of Independence, 1776. Mr. Speaker, it had the aspirational part. We hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men are created equal,
Yeah. Come on now. Bring it home.
endowed by their Creator with certain
Yeah.
unalienable
Bring it home.
rights,
Come on now.
that among these are life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness.
Come on. Come on, Lou.
That's the aspirational part of the Declaration of Independence.
Yeah.
And as House Democrats, we're committed, no matter what it takes, to bring that about. Imagine in America where everyone who works hard and plays by the rules can live the good life, afford to live the good life.
Come on, man.
Good paying jobs, good housing, good health care, good education for your children, and a good retirement. That's what House Democrats are fighting for. That's the aspirational part of the Declaration of Independence, to bring that to life, the pursuit of happiness. That's the aspirational part. But then when you look at that Declaration of Independence, the second part of it, it reads like an indictment against an out-of-control king. Reads like an indictment against an out-of-control king. I commend all Americans, perhaps sometime tomorrow, I'm going to do this myself, read that document in its entirety.
Come on, read it.
And why was that indictment issued? I think it was because the framers of this great country, they were fed up with Project 1775. And so they implemented Project 1776. So I know that there are people concerned with what's happening in America, but understand what our journey teaches us is that after Project 2025 comes Project 2026. And you will have an opportunity to end this national nightmare as part of Project 2026. I love the framers. They gave us a blueprint for what should give us hope in this moment.
That's right.
I think that I want to close by referencing
Take your sweet time.
someone who we all serve with. I want to stand on the shoulders, if it's okay, on some of our civil rights heroes and foot soldiers.
Yes, yes.
Those whose character, whose conviction, whose courage should give the American people hope at a moment of great despair. Many of us had the great honor of serving with Congressman John Lewis. The great honor, Mr. Speaker, to serve with Congressman John Lewis.
That's right.
And I came across something that John Lewis said in June of 2028, that hopefully, no matter what the outcome of this vote, will give people some hope. Great John Lewis said, "Do not get lost in a sea of despair. Be hopeful.
Say his word.
Be optimistic. Our struggle is not the struggle of a day, a week, a month, or a year. It is the struggle of a lifetime." That's our struggle. No matter what, Mr. Speaker, you decide to do today, that's our struggle. Standing on the shoulders of John Lewis, that's our struggle. Never, ever be afraid to make some noise and get into good trouble. Good trouble. Good trouble. Necessary trouble. Standing on the shoulders of giants. John Lewis would often talk to us about his admiration for Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Dr. King, who would refer to John Lewis as the boy from Troy.
The boy from Troy.
Now, what's interesting to me, that civil rights movement, we can learn a lot from it. Started December of 1955. And Rosa Parks sat down on that bus so that all of us could have the courage to stand up.
That's right.
Wasn't an easy struggle. All the odds were stacked against these civil rights heroes and foot soldiers. And during the early days of the movement, a difficult part of the movement, Dr. King, after they'd been targeted, arrested, beaten, harassed by the authorities, he traveled to Brooklyn, New York,
Yes. Brooklyn.
and spoke at the Concord Baptist Church. I think it was in March of 1956. And he said to a group of people of every race, every religion, every life experience, the Concord Baptist Church in Bedford-Stuyvesant, said to them, no matter what the odds, we've got to press on. Dr. King said that if you can't fly, run.
That's right.
If you can't run, walk.
That's right.
If you can't walk, crawl. But at all times, press on. And keep pressing. And so as I take my seat, I just want to say to the American people that no matter what the outcome is on this singular day,
What the fight forward.
we're going to press on. We're going to press on. We're going to press on. We're going to press on for our children, press on for our seniors, press on for our veterans, press on for our unions, press on for our farmers, press on for our dreamers, press on for working class Americans, press on for the middle class, press on for all who aspire to be part of the middle class, press on for the poor, press on for the sick, press on for the afflicted, press on for the least, press on for the lost, press on for the left behind, press on for the rule of law, press on for the American way of life, press on for democracy. We're going to press on until victory is won. I yield back.
John would have been proud.
Hakeem, 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 Hakeem.
Awesome job.
Thank you.
Press on.
Did he do it? Did he do it? He did it. He did it. Hakeem, Hakeem. Hakeem, 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 Hakeem.
Gentleman from Massachusetts.
You don't need to take an hour.
This gentleman from
Eight
Massachusetts.
hours.
Gentleman from
I think it's,
Massachusetts.
Mr. Speaker, I think it's fair to say the leader has done his part. I have no further speakers. I yield back our time.
Gentleman from Massachusetts yield.
That's all you got?
Gentleman from Missouri is recognized for 1 minute. You have 2 minutes remaining.
Mr. Speaker, could we have order?
The House will be in order. The House will be in order, please. The House will be in order, please. Thank you. Gentleman from Missouri is recognized for 1 minute. You have 2 minutes remaining.
Wow, Mr. Speaker. We have stood in this chamber for over 8 hours listening to a lot of words, a lot of comments, a lot of inaccurate statements. And where I come from, could we have order?
Gentlemen, the House will be in order. The House will be in order. The House will be in order, please. The House will be in order. Thank you. Gentleman from Missouri is recognized.
Mr. Speaker, I come from the Show Me State, and what we just heard can be defined in one word. A bunch of hogwash is what we've heard for 8 hours on that side of the building. I'll tell you, for the 8 hours, could we have order?
We'll suspend. The House will be in order. Thank you. He's recognized.
Mr. Speaker, the 8 hours of hogwash that we just heard will not change the outcome that you will see very shortly when we deliver historic tax relief for working families, small business owners, and farmers. Mr. Look. Yeah. Mr. Speaker, I yield 1 minute to our great Speaker of the House, Mr. Mike Johnson.
I thank the gentleman from Missouri. I thank you, Mr. Speaker. You know, Ronald Reagan said one time that no speech should be longer than 20 minutes, and unlike the Democrat leader, I'm going to honor my colleague's time and be a little more brief than that, all right? I just want to say something that many of us learned when we were children. We were taught, you know, it takes a lot longer to build a lie than to tell the simple truth. My friends and colleagues on both sides of the aisle, we've waited long enough. Some of us have literally been up for days now. But this day is a hugely important one in the history of our nation. We have a big job to finish, and that's why we're here on the week of July 4th, just a day before now, America's birthday. It was on that fateful day, as the Democrat leader acknowledged, that our founders pledged their lives and their sacred honor to this grand experiment in self-governance that we are now here to steward. It's an experiment that falls to us to guard and to protect it. We take that very seriously on this side of the aisle. In just a few moments, we will remind the world why the American experiment still endures today and why its best days are still ahead of us. Yeah. Mr. Speaker, with one big, beautiful bill, we are going to make this country stronger, safer, and more prosperous than ever before. And every American is going to benefit from that. Yeah. Today, we are laying a key cornerstone of America's new golden age. Now listen, we have a few words of gratitude first. Scripture's been cited a lot this morning, I think mostly out of context, but what I will say, one thing that we know about Scripture is that we're supposed to give honor where honor is due, and that's what we do on this side of the aisle. I want to thank every single member of the House Republican Conference for their pouring their time and their heart and their expertise and experience into this process. I want to thank all of our amazing staff members, all of them. Yes. Their dedication, their endless hours, their hard work made this all possible. I want to thank the White House Office of Legislative Affairs, who have basically lived with us now for the last few weeks. Their patience and persistence and their professionalism is greatly appreciated. Our country's incredible cabinet secretaries have been involved as well. They've assisted us in countless ways throughout this process. Our Vice President, J.D. Vance, helped us navigate so many dire straits along the last several weeks through the House and the Senate. And of course, our bold, visionary, fearless President, Donald J. Trump. President Trump is the creator and the champion of the America First agenda. We will deliver upon that today. We come a long way. We come a long way. We began this process really about 15 months ago. We had a sense, and we believed that we would have unified government. We would have this moment where the Republican Party would be given control of the White House and the Senate and the House. And we determined to ourselves that we would not waste that historic opportunity. We've had spirited debates, we've had months of deliberation, and now we are finally ready to fulfill our promise to the American people. That's what we are doing today. Now, look, before I respond to the allegations from across the chamber, I just want to take us back to a day that most of us will remember so very fondly for the rest of our lives, and that's November 5th of 2024. That was Election Day, a fateful one for America. The reason that was so important, the reason it was such a turn in history is because the American people spoke with unmistakable clarity. We sensed it as we were all out campaigning. We saw that there would be a demographic shift in America, and that is exactly what the election yielded. We, in our party, had a record number of Black and African American voters come to the Republican Party. We had a record number of Hispanic and Latino voters come to the Republican Party, a record number of Jewish voters and union workers and suburban women and urban voters. They came out in record numbers to join the Republican Party and the America First agenda with President Trump. That election was decisive. It was a bellwether. It was a time for choosing. And I tell you what, the American people chose overwhelmingly. They chose the Republican Party. And the reason they did that, they didn't come hesitantly. They came with hopeful anticipation. You know why? Because this is not your father's Democratic Party, okay?
Amen.
They went so far, full speed, to the far left. And their radical, woke, progressive agenda, that nonsense that they tried to push on the people, was rejected by the people.
Yeah.
These new voters came to us. They had enough of the Biden-Harris madness and all the things they were trying to hoist upon the American people that they just don't believe in their hearts. And they were hopeful. They came to us with hope. They wanted us to restore common sense and accountability, and we promised to them that we would do just that. Those new demographics came to the Republican Party because of open borders wreaking havoc on their communities. They came because of weakness at home that fueled instability abroad, and because trillions in reckless spending put the price of gas and groceries further out of the reach for hardworking Americans. It wasn't right. President Trump and our Republican majority in Congress are fixing all of that right now. President Trump said this week, we're the hottest country in the world again. My friends, that is an objective truth. Hey, listen, how about all the wins for the president and this party? Here's just a sample from the last 2 weeks. The headline today will be, the one big beautiful bill passes the Congress, okay? You got to hold your applause. There's too many wins. Are you tired of winning yet? No! Fourth jobs report in a row exceeds expectations. A sample of the headlines. Lowest monthly border encounters in U.S. history. We closed the border. Last couple of days, a new trade deal with Vietnam and all the countries of the world, around the world lining up for that. UPenn agrees to ban biological men from women's sports. And they ought to give a personal apology to every female athlete impacted by that nonsense. Gas prices are at a 4-year low, my friends. The Air Force and Space Force both hit their 2025 recruiting goals 3 months early. Israel is agreeing to a 60-day ceasefire with Hamas. Successful strike on Iranian nuclear sites handles that problem. That's exactly right. Strength is back. America's back. It's resulted now in a ceasefire deal between Iran and Israel. The NATO countries are increasing their defense spending, not just 2%, 5% of GDP, okay? The president got in charge and got a Rwanda-Congo peace deal. The Supreme Court ended nationwide injunctions. How about that? That conservative majority on the Supreme Court also allows third country deportations. We've had a record high stock market, and we're signing a China trade deal. That's just the last 2 weeks. The last 2 weeks. So many simple truths to share, and so little time to do it, because I want everybody to have a break here. But I just want to say this. It's really nice to hear my Democrat colleagues suddenly take an interest in working Americans again. Did you pick up on that theme today? Let's be clear. Working Americans stopped trusting Democrats a long time ago. That is a fact. They're looking to this side of the chamber. They're looking to the Republican Party and our principles to deliver the relief and the reform that they have long demanded and they most certainly deserve. This big, beautiful bill fulfills all the promises of the America First agenda. It is the people's bill. It is made for and shaped by the most diverse coalition of American voters in American history. Today, we are making the dream of a government that puts the American people first a reality, a reality. I would need this entire notebook to tell you all the great things in the big, beautiful bill. It is aptly named, but I'll just tell you a couple of the highlights. Record tax cuts for hardworking Americans. Historic savings at the same time to end reckless spending. We got energy dominance coming back to power our future. We have a secure border to protect American families. We have a strong military to restore peace through strength. And we have a government that is now accountable and responsive to the people once again. That's what we're delivering. For everyday Americans, this means real, positive change that they can feel, and they will feel much more when this bill is done. Families back home will have real relief, an average of $10,000 in their pockets, thanks to the largest working and middle-class tax cut in the history of this great nation. That's what we're doing today. You got hardworking Americans like our waiters and our bellhops and our hairstylists. They're going to keep 100% of their tips and overtime pay. That is money they earned. It does not belong to the government. It belongs to them, and they deserve to keep it. Small businesses that want to build and expand new factories, you know what they can do now? They can write off 100% of their investment. That will have us a lot more building. Young families who want to buy a home will be able to, thanks to historic savings that will put our country on a stronger financial footing. Pregnant women, children, seniors, single mothers, the disabled, and the low-income Americans among us receiving Medicaid and SNAP will have the peace of mind of knowing that we've made these safety nets stronger with our reforms. See, when Republicans are in charge, we bring common sense. We're going to make sure that Americans who do need and deserve those critical programs won't have to compete against people who can work but choose not to do so. That's not right. This bill is going to put fairness back in the system. We are returning to common sense. We're returning to what is good and decent that people know in their hearts, and that's why they support it. More Americans will be working, volunteering, and serving their communities. because modest, common sense work requirements will restore dignity and purpose to those on taxpayer-funded benefits. The bill will also mean that safer streets are available in every zip code around the country, because our border will remain fully and totally secure. The Republican Party stands for law and order, and this is the side that stands with law enforcement, the brave men and women who are on the front line. The idea that those who put their own lives on the line to protect us would be assaulted for doing their jobs is unconscionable. Law enforcement, I know you agree. I know, amen. Law enforcement will have the help of a border wall now that's 100% complete. Our immigration enforcement officers will get a boost from more manpower and resources and detention space so that detained illegal aliens are not released back into the streets like they were for the last 4 years. And our homeland can rest soundly again under the protection of President Trump's Golden Dome. That's what we're investing in. Look, any of these individual achievements would be historic victories for a Republican Congress or any Congress. And today we're delivering on all of them in one big, beautiful bill. That's what Americans can count on when we pass this legislation, and that's exactly what Democrats will vote to oppose today. That's a fact. We didn't write this bill for the Democratic Party or the elites or the media. This bill is for hard-working Americans, and they deserve it. I'm gonna just say this as plainly as I can. This is a simple truth. If you're for a secure border, safer communities, and a strong military, this bill is for you. If you're for common sense fiscal responsibility and reducing the deficit, this bill is for you. If you're for fair and lower taxes, bigger paychecks, affordable gas and groceries, and restoring dignity to hard work, this is the bill for you. It makes no difference whether our colleagues on across the chamber speak for 25 minutes or 25 hours. They can't change the truth. And today was about performance for some of them. But today for us is about results. Results that improve the lives of Americans, regardless of their race, religion, color, or creed. It does not matter. I tell you what, Ronald Reagan used to remind us you can always trust the American people, and we do trust the American people, and they can discern the difference. What they saw on display here today is that Democrats deliver performances and Republicans deliver results. Today, my friends, we are ready now. We are going to deliver what we were sent here to do, and every American will benefit from it. In 1793, just steps from where we stand today, President George Washington laid the first cornerstone of the United States Capitol. Over 50 years later, on July 4th again, members of this body gathered once again to lay a second cornerstone. Once more on July 4th, at the height of the Cold War, Congress laid a third cornerstone. And this week, with this vote today, on our nation's birthday being tomorrow, we lay a fourth. With this bill, we can vote as stewards of that great legacy that we have inherited in this extraordinary nation that we are blessed to live in. We can lay another sturdy foundation for the future of this country, a future where working Americans can feel relief, where government can finally start living within its means again, and where the United States is safer, stronger, and more prosperous than ever before. That's right. Now, I'm going to say this as they mock America and mock everything and mock the bill. We'll see how the people feel about that.
Yeah.
So listen, seriously, as friends and colleagues, really, across the aisle, what we celebrate tomorrow is the nation's birthday. Let's put the politics aside for a minute, and let's reflect on our blessings. No kidding, really. Tomorrow is the 249th birthday of our nation, and that's right.
Yeah! USA! 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 USA!
I mean this sincerely. I thank my colleagues for standing. We all should be united in that. We are. We have squabbles, we have partisan debates and all of this, but at the end of the day, we're all Americans, man. And we gotta believe that. We gotta know it. We gotta recognize that we live in the greatest nation in the history of the world. It's not even close. My friends and colleagues, we are so blessed. We should not take it for granted. We live in the most free, the most successful, the most powerful, the most benevolent nation that has ever been on the face of the earth. And there's a reason for that. The reason that we are the greatest nation is because we were built on the ultimate foundation. And the bold declaration that my friend Hakeem Jeffries articulated earlier is true. We unite under that. The bold declaration that we do hold these truths to be self-evident. What is a self-evident truth? It's something that's obvious. We hold these truths to be self-evident that all men are created equal. It does not say born equal, it says created equal. And that it is our Creator, yes. It is our Creator that gives us our rights. See, the powerful thing about that is we're the first nation in the history of the world that acknowledged that our rights do not derive from government. They come from God Himself. You see those words up there, that motto, it says, "In God we trust," right above the speaker's rostrum. You know, a previous Congress put that there in the early 60s in the height of the Cold War. There's a little visitor's guide that people get when you do tours late at night. You've probably seen your constituents and visitors and friends get the guide. If you turn, I think it's about to page 21. It explains why that's there. And it says, Congress voted to put that there as a rebuke to the Soviets' worldview at the height of the Cold War. Why? Because communism, socialism, find their root in Marxism. And Marxism begins with the belief that there is no God. It's wrong. And this Congress made us stand those many years ago, and we should do it again. We're different, we're distinct, we're exceptional, because we acknowledge that right there, our motto. It doesn't say in government we trust. It says in God we trust. And we better remember that. He has blessed us with His grand experiment in self-governance now for almost 2.5 centuries. And by God's grace, we are working hard and we are delivering on our promise to make America great again. This is without a doubt the most important vote of this Congress, and I think this may be the most important vote that any of us take in our entire lifetimes. And everybody better remember it, however you vote today. My friends, the President of the United States is waiting with his pen. The American people are waiting for this relief. We've heard enough talk. It's time for action. Let's finish the job for him. Vote yes on the bill. With that, I yield back.
The gentleman yields, and all time for debate has expired. Pursuant to House Resolution 566, the previous question is ordered. The question is on the motion by the gentleman from Texas, Mr. Arrington. All those in favor say aye. Those opposed, no. The ayes have it. The motion is agreed to. For what purpose does the gentleman from Massachusetts seek recognition?
Ask for a recorded vote.
Vote is requested. Those favoring a recorded vote will rise. A sufficient number having risen, a recorded vote is ordered. Members will record their votes by electronic device. This will be a 15-minute vote.
Members voted. Or wish to change a vote? No. On this vote, the yeas are 218, the nays are 214. The motion is adopted. Without objection, the motion to reconsider is laid on the table.
You ready? The chair lays before the House a communication.
The Honorable Speaker, House of Representatives, sir, pursuant to the permission granted in Clause 2H of Rule 2 of the Rules of the U.S. House of Representatives, the clerk received the following message from the Secretary of the Senate on June 27, 2025 at 3:36 p.m. that the Senate passed Senate 98, Senate 257, that the Senate agreed to relative to the death of Frederick W. Smith, Senate Resolution 308, Appointments, Board of Visitors of the U.S. Military Academy. Signed sincerely, Kevin F. McCumber, Clerk.
Do what I have to do? To Clause 13 of Rule 1, the House stands adjourned until 10 a.m. on Monday, July 7, 2025.